frail hands cramped around the planchette, a skull fraction falling from a bassinet. The transept the door with the amphora, plucking petals in reverse. But first of all was fast forward the grandest soldier in the dwelling place, forged antebellum, long charm. Judge did a juggler's throw, waist held and loopholed into a triskelion, sacrosanct plate day. In a worship space, enunciation denounced in a wood of cypress, burnt tin. In a double shell cathedral dome, curtains drawn, curdled yarn of the downtrodden sub-basement, resounding with the loud saw, the down bowl bisect, pappy winkle collarbone, owl cry, baptistry, drove the looms, caresses of bronze relics, and a citrus husk, the hammer thud, wedding pastry buried in the vault, highlights of mixed pigments, tephra, subdued cross-hatching, croaked by a carmelite, the deep drapery folded into a Mobius strip, eclipse gray, engraving, erodious glare, drawn on lenin, flagellated granulation, canine cringe, binge fringe, adoration, the night clatter, after tatted, filigree, the caldera plummeting, elephant of celebies, the halo, fog cog, stove prone, headacone, inch thick, pitch, prince, wincing, gramophone, converging on the price. High priestess, the pell-mell bell shell, damn let poor clares. I found a pair of rusticated dog tags, monochrome oasis and circle black begonia, lush and rich itch, catatonia, the brooch pin, poached soap, mega plume, the fine delicate objects swam back at daybreak. The grief gizzard smuggled in a dressing room, a true authorship from a half-mad invalid. The cave mouth count frowns at the wig master backlog ashram. Pride of place, a cattails as we go, a wolf egg, calling cords, flush spread, mulch fest, the pulse ring, repulse link, wraith globe, patrons taken, language to the stagecoach, the glass ribbed quib, holding court at the cafe, produced for private viewers. It's quite passe, closet ooze, rocket fuel, Bishop Krylus, thin glaze on the rib cage, the heirloom carrying a small pyramid of bones, ripple bows. I called upon Beatrice. The pillar flinch, pharmacist false claim, stone pale tarantella dance, rook fell, overnight local necrosis, a cloak blown, wing web, woman of the mine shaft, whole time, throwing coins at the subjects, a dream wife, a crux, breath, dragonfly, fossil of people, fork-tailed wax, mausoleum inflammation, winter garden, corruptible ectoparasite, gentle roar, a pine drape, discreet egg sac, clean break, nervous systematic, telegraphic, simple, whipping pride, syrup spread, trap door hinge, fleshlight, contorted dubables, digestive enzymes, bloat film, clove crutch, beta amyloid, boot hill, junk brood, dead whale, a hatchet tread, lens plug, cannibal giant, and high gloss, rose bomb, self-luminous, in constraints, communion egg, vanishing hitchhiker, jazz gush, four-finger disenchantment, the ignites, a wet placard resuscitation, and grab, a flaring tilt, diving bell, flattened luster, amnesia hook, spine fringe, Ouija board, halting turn, providing decorations and tussocks, a thick lozenge, antisara, its impinge, splinter plunge, grain shortage, flea plumped, cobbled neck treachery, or hydrogen, outburst, camouflage waft, a wasp net, hell stash, loop drooping, purgatory, complexion plumb, back talk, or candle weaves, rubric, postscript, church of burned matchsticks, a metal flush, ugly lapidary grouping, under the covers, a head devoured in Canterbury, planetarium scarce, digestive tract, paperback, the bleach rod, impulse cord, the threadbare, the meat globe, miniaturized nuisance at a pan, a trench dug, the former synapse, knob cut, breathable white net, it's harmless, and gave one bark, made of patchwork, stargate, in a plate of dog food, a slush clear, never revolve. Wonton, plush fizz, stale sweat, body lice, jaw swell, bric-a-brac, closely packed, cumbersome brimful, a floor clutch, bathed in secretions, moon balls, juniper bush, near a furnace feeding on egg pods, cannonballs in E-flat, the huge drifts, like a sculptural bust, crushed, a lacerated nerve heap, a furnace stitch, with the lord knife, gratified, when it's released from a class unmasked, the weathered creep, engorging itself. The echo jetty, tender foliage, first in-star. Ambulance in the diastolic foxhole. A great prince, habit to gorge, a micropile. This piercing Kentucky, a ramshackle prowl, seldom omitted. A whole pal nourished. The misnomer, assailant scruff, diving when pursued worm knot, theatrical shove. With audible popping, a hardened cuticle, golden braided center, the soap cake foam flat. Steep-sided pitfall trap, a custom sleeping place, steep-sided pitfall trap. Sky pros, the blight cankers, what?
Two friends.
Glass mouth, sphinx moth. Crackling disturbance, familiar illnet. The gutter amulet that's been ill-bred. A boxcar that fell in a papyrus swamp. In a cape full bereft, my face is wickless. Arm pumped with the earth root. Reflect aromatic herb extract. In my death mask, another flag frame, the vapor wash, a gentle head stitch, cross-fold hatch, winter with defeated cavity, an abyss twine around my bedpost, peppermint plinth, a conch crush, a glass car, a paw bent and engorged, hanging upside down. From a leaf, delectable letter spoke from the psych ward, ruptured by a touch, far removed, lying drowned in a pale smock. The red meat, a folded membranes that smell like wet sage, a done-for river scrawl. In the bathtub, seraphic life stage, on a nun's back, in plain view of a beaded beak droop. The telephone dilates from numb gulps of reflux, a non-functional photo-negative, hissing fetus, botanical alchemy. An engagement ring, rapidly swimming, connected by 3 braids, hung in a timely manner with a checkered plume, a suicidal termination in the ink pad, a spatial height. The spatial heights conformed into a mayfly, the friction jar fluid coated functions as a gill, interior paths, repeatedly stung, with the ovary bloated, continuous pumping of divine oneness, hammered into havoc pinned and overlapping in concord explored as a bird sang. Bird sang a mantis femur, singles vertebrate, cavity pouch, apple maggot lining of the hindgut, cage cambio candid, the large ball of pollen, a storm crest modified the function as fins, a buttermilk curdled into vulture talons, the dust covered the third time. It is many days, somnambulant toil, applying first aid, suckled on the folded, but ripe parchment, stupor of outbursts, a wild guess regurgitates a whipcord, driving a downstroke, termite mold, the held captive by the siphoning mouth part, a longing swept, letter bearers a right pattern, the dagger's raised phase, dorsal vessel, with pigeon beak, prey within reach, to the graphic of rapture perceived for a grasping a single hand. The anatomy of silkworms, cake nod feeding, niche nuptial gift, inlet speck, hook-like projection, toxic urine, a gastric crawl. I'm better off without wings. The awful churn of wormwood. Viaduct, cryptic run, chamomile, minor act, steadfast soul pack, lithic get the figure of a glove, in a spare room, diluted low, salivary block, confetti pole, falsetto, eyelid twitch, locust valve, constriction impulse, disinfectant, bulbous vow, corrosive band together with the chorus smile. Gong mumble stumbled into seesaw, to land beside it like a clock bed. Sepia hinge lid, a fast turn, weathered fence post. This wine door, faith hung to facilitate a courtship. Hand hush, grail fixed foreplay. Yellow fall, a vague grin. Thread split, looking varicose. Fierce core, meal served. Blubbery bombardier, wound twine. Metallic clutch perk. Echinacea, ghastly placenta. Warm reception, rising slow. Hopelessly tangled. Intensal glass, basal ganglia. That's abscons. Occipital extraction. Mezzanine cleavage with the hieroglyph. Fled the scene, gale defrosted. Candle flame on the world. Pericardium, St. Paul rule. Sphinx brick, blame, compulsion. Falling victim to the self-knowledge. To be decrested on the further edge. Vulture wrist lapses trapped on a paw surf. Pomegranate gnawed prod of a holy word. I was suffocated by a heart half strung. Elsewhere the feeling was feverish yet desolate. And it's ended in a mended veiled lamp. With dew drenched I clenched. My mind gross at noontide. The basket work proceeded while bleeding a votive chant. A joyful dispute. Blue till it began to shed inward the bland nudge that incited the dance. Denounced mouth pounce. Later found doom trace. A boredom pickle. Wholesome cocooning clothes. In distress and forgotten they rotted and swung blind. I heard the moonless dome. Heard Jerome's chest thud. Carpet shop killings with the linchpin. Gesture of response that went astray. I could feed the gift of faceted bird tree. Infirm microcosmos dawn. I always long. I could never feel the source when I fell in floods. Green foam window drip recorded widow his. Gut hole console, but go to loo. Sun basking there fell a fine cup. Bottleneck, mess of a tear cut. Thornbread, that broke with the guard pain. Hailstone, provoked a lip draw. The church blush fell flush. Like a spear gash, the crude lump came up front. Sharp mouth. Flesh-colored buzz, ear stroke. sipping pus from a sore, joyful pour of a lung-spewed sewage disposal plant. Bomb steam into the abyss cram, a bird caught in the thought of an idle hatch. Water lily trace in a cloud scratch, swallowed raw by some web cop. Say his name, he paints out loud, broken soliloquies, he shouts the sound of misery get down. Over Persephone, the count lurks, I grieve infinity droplets, scholastic at the Benedictine lightning flash, as a soul with the heaven in the form of a pure white dove. My mind runs with the jackal pack, tearing apart the camping it sings, giving thanks to liturgical symmetry song, shrouded, clouded sky marbled in blue and pink eye gouge, devoured thorn, halo pronounced, wittingly ousted angelic operative pounds. I'm typically found quasi-conscious crawling through a sewer pipe. With mystery school injuries, it can be badly portrayed as I favor the source of holiness. A pitchfork skewed the knowing. The drowning hum of a touch tower beats upon me. A softly drowned by a mountainous waveform, spouting countless choirs, arousal quench. Trench clothing left as a tomb swept. With wax and feathers, I'm better off, strangled hope, choked on the promise left inside the chest. Everything I dream is just a cave that pulsates, a skull remains, a vital ingredient to despise. Yet the statues were marked in my kindness, birds flapping out from the phantom's wrist. A sublime depth to plunge and become a mocked human fragment. The sap preserved the faintest of cries. I chased the bomb shrapnel, time had swept the grey remains under floorboards. I tore my lapel in the chapel, decapitated by a windmill. I feel the thousand wars maul my face as I sit still. The obvious wind chill, scarring barred from a freedom so seemingly straightforward. The horror and panics alive and drenched prayer portal. Living inside of a molded snake carcass, I wept for a month. Who can calculate a losing circumference, a plummeting portion that drifted to far? I watch, leaving, believing me not, believing me not, spiral to the top of what he accomplished from the embers of his conscience, spitting health. Check the margin, rock this wooden ground till somebody stop. But what's the problem? Disembodied, there's a crowd watching from across the sprawl. Save for the dead of lords, a cruciform crux, crutch, trust assumption with suffrage a constant. Collect the Franciscan clotted cloak cautious. Fall in the frost, the pardon, martyr been charted. Charged the most charming of all, I might just fall like my father before, with sword cling to the rim. As a priest reading the text, a Catholic burial rite, hysterical price, stereophonic gut spillage. A feral canine barking, a powerful particle arch the march strip. Prayer lip gift from a catacomb, given riddled with holes, often noxious. Spell the fate, smell the pain, dwelling place. Demolished, I lost and fossilized doctrine, jotted before I nodded off in sobs. A garbage disposal holds you closely. I wrote this scrimshaw, unhinged jaw, calling out for the twine. Climbed off of a ledge, chanting of hymns. Time-lapse execution, drowning in the diving suit. Little fisherman figurine implanted inside of you. My final view of hell consisted of arms folded, turbulent discs hovering, lashing out at the ones that I love, recalling from future loss, morbid posts composed in the sludge.
Try to fathom what I don't know what I know.
Say a prayer for the moon in me is awkward, ambivalent, precipice, a silk wormhole, guts like piano in a whale's stomach. I pray to play myself into another dimension. Green time travel, back of my mind at all times. I would fight or flight, wait to wake and dream inside the city sun. We make peace in the graveyard at a slow timber, posing as a magus in the karma of a ticking time bomb, dancing like a mantis on the hi-hat of a warrior song. Dancing like a mantis on the hi-hat of a warrior song. You can get down off the cross now, white buffalo. You can take the A train home. You can take the A train home. You can take the A train home. Burn the roof down. See the moon night. The mental sky, the hard sky, the loaded sky. The mental sky, the hard sky, the loaded sky. Burn the roof down. See the moon night.
Try to fathom what I don't know what I feel. Try to fathom what I don't know what I feel.
Say a prayer for the moon in me is awkward, ambivalent, precipice, a silk wormhole, guts like piano in a whale's stomach. I prayed I play myself into another dimension. Green time travel in the back of my mind at all times. I would fight or flight, wake to wake and dream inside the city sun. We make peace in the graveyard at a slow timber, posing as a magus in the karma of a ticking time bomb, dancing like a magus on the hi-hat of a warrior song. Dancing like a mantis on the hi-hat of a warrior song. You can get down off the cross now, white buffalo. You can take the A train home, white buffalo. You can take the A train home. Burn the roof down. See the moon night. The metal sky, the hard sky, the light sky. The metal sky, the hard sky, the light sky. The metal sky.
Try to fathom
blood pudding serving, hydra flood, ultramarine leopard chain, bankrupt, a sacred conversation with an oblique branch, unlatched tongue fastened to a fixed pole, leading to a separate altar, ransacked, the ice pane of an anatomical plaza, binding and writhing on the floor of raw arm, supplicants up against a white chapel, the gallows swung with the clothed flank, a patron saint of a private brew, a cleaver clicked in the midst of a brisk help sketch. The wet false cauldron results into perfume bottles, sealing starch parched in a stark voyage, corked umbrella spokes, sapo tramp under a stucco arch, with a snub nose, a bad saw plotting, quibble and rock, decomposed further pitch, trickle overripe, claw ring, over dry frames, a wolf-headed stem bucket, church gold, the quartered lamb, a lab jar of angelic vomit, in a day's work. Fast swaddle fused to form with upper dip, loving means jog erect, sprawling estate, polished blotch, shawled in the spectrum of wavelengths, bottom tier nimbus, whirling tip of planktonic krill, chrysanthemum, an archetype, five-eyed fly, of topaz, a cataract block, high-pitched hum, madcap, the valuable porcelain, deafening serving maid, a spectrum drenched in myriads of threads, high hung, lapped up a pheromone drifting downwind. Simon Mack is scaffold served as a scabbard to boycott, a family photo of various brightness, head first, thunder lunge, hexagonal facets, mishauled, a smudge stick, sickle shaped flats.
You don't mind my going to church, do you, dear?
So.
Canned beneath the surface film, frost spin to correspond, darting from a perch off with the precious braid, the convalescent growth is a houseplant. Doomlord, desert poke, slender mandible, battered leg cast, a starlit head capsule, storm crossed, spider bite, surgical removal, cursive script, the brigand slant ooze from a tree, bone broth, the anxious disguise, behind museum glass, rush strut of a tracheal, eggshell, carbon monoxide, tuning fork, pinkish soapstone, the mellow cripple, nerve branches, ambush, the silversmith arched under the tension of a spike ball, ravine blasting, except for the thorax at the eatery, leftover microscopic plates contain the flooding. A slack graph coiled like a watch spring with hygienic, membranous roadsides, foreshadowed, slats and staves postulate,